Hey everybody, this is Lynn from A Bit of Birdsong. I wanted to drop in and share a journal that I've made. I finished it up today, and it is the product of, I guess, my evolving thoughts about what a journal should be for me, not for anybody else or everybody else. There are so many ways to make a journal, and there's no one correct way. If you've seen any of my videos where I read from old journals, you know that I kept a journal for a long time. I still journal. When my children were little, I did mostly writing. And I did that because I wanted the memories. It was just a place for me to put my feelings every day. I would write funny things that the children had done. As the kids have gotten older and there are fewer funny things to write about with little children involved, my life has changed tremendously. I have a lot more time to do things that I want to do. I've got my workshop. I do work at a job full time that I don't think everybody would, their first choice would be to have a 9 to 5 every day, but I do really love my job. I love the people I work with. I love the income. I love the benefit. I have a lot of things going on in different ways. I have my job. I make little notes for that. I've got the window open and we're supposed to have storms, and I'm just looking out. It's getting darker as the minutes go by and the wind is picking up a little bit. But with my Etsy shop and my beautiful workshop that Jason built for me, I have other things going on too, things that I want to do, goals, and I keep a journal all the time. And I have sort of gotten to the point where my journal is like shared with my to-do list. You know, maybe someday I'll look back and say, oh, I wish I had not put my to-do list in my journals. I do have a separate business journal. I have a separate calendar. So I keep several books, several journals, or several calendars, if you will. That said, and I'm getting kind of long-winded, I'm sorry, but I did want to talk about this. I've made some journals that I liked. I like to have homemade books or journals that are just full of beautiful things. But sometimes it's not practical from a writing, journaling standpoint. On the other hand, I love the pretty embellishments and decorations so much that I'm to the point where I don't really want just a plain journal with lined paper and nothing pretty to look at, if that makes sense. So, with a lot of inspiration from different people, different experiences, making journals myself that I then felt like if I did it again, I would do that differently. I've come up with something that I like for today. Next month, I may totally change my mind. But this is a journal that is a writing journal / pretty journal. And I'm going to show it to you, but I did want to stop in for a minute and kind of explain my thoughts without having you look at my hands for 5 minutes while I'm talking. So I don't have the prettiest hands anyway, but I'm glad I have them. I love them. So with that, I will show you this journal that I'm talking about. I finished this up today and I love it. It's so springy and gardeny, and it's just a pretty little journal, and especially for somebody who likes to write and to have things that are pretty in their journals. This little doesn't have to have anything to close it. In fact, my personal journals, I don't really like a closure. I journal every day, so I like to be able to open and close. This, believe it or not, is part of a band off of the bottom of a sweatshirt. And I just sewed on this button and the little petals to keep it, to make a band, and it slides right on. The cover is from a beautiful piece of paper that came from a wallpaper sample book, and I just loved this room. I love the garden theme, and just the bright green, the pink, all of the garden tones, and that furniture, the peeling paint, that sort of, again, it's kind of like a garden theme. The front, there's a pocket, there's a fabric pocket with some lace, and I've put this little name or date plate, so to speak. That is a printable that I've got to get that listed in my shop. I have several things that I have to get in there that are really nice little digital printouts. There are, I'm not sure how many pages, I will count them for sure, but every other page is a page that is good for writing. And that to me is so important. I've evolved to the point with my journals to where I want plenty of writing space, but I also like pretty pages. I don't like just a plain lined notebook anymore. This is also a digital that I have, and it's going into the shop. This is some old paper with some type of zodiac thing, or like the astrological, I guess the alignment of the planets or whatever. I think that was from maybe the 70s. There's more wallpaper. This page has a double pocket. I know, at least for my personal journaling, I do, like I said, I write every day. I keep to-do lists. I write down things that I've done, things that I want to do, and I end up with receipts that I need to keep, either for my shop or, you know, for warranty or whatever, and I like to have places to put things. Look at that, a place for a tea bag. I thought that was kind of sweet. There's another digital. There are a lot of pretty art pages in this journal, and garden sort of inspired pages. There are mosaics here. Makes me think of a garden. There's a beautiful garden. That is a digital from a gorgeous, gorgeous old photograph that I had, and I ended up putting the original in a journal that I sold. She's just gorgeous. That's from the 1800s, that picture was. This is sort of neat. This pocket, again, is to keep receipts or whatever, and there are not a lot of pockets in this journal. I wanted it to be very useful, very functional. This is actually a sleeve from a big book to hold record albums. So I went ahead and stamped records, and of course we mean it in a different way, but I just thought that was cute. And it's all about cuteness sometimes. That's another digital, and I just love, I loved making this journal. I love all the pages that show gardens, porches, textiles, and then the beautiful ladies that, you know, I think about living there or what have you. I love the contrast here. This is contemporary, of course. That's a beautiful garden scene. And then that is a digital from an old, what are those art prints? Is it Godse's illustrations from, or Godey's? Is it Godey? Oh, I'm awful. It was an old ladies magazine. I think it was Godey's. I'm not sure if I'm even saying that right. I've seen it printed. I've not heard it said. Pretty images from a vintage book, and more garden images, more paper, and of course you can see this is sort of a graph type paper. I love writing on paper like this, especially for day-to-day to-do lists, things that I need to get done, and just for little sketches and things. I really like this kind of paper. More pretty images. There's another art book page, and I've sewn onto the other side a garden image. There are some fabric tabs on some of the pages just to add some prettiness and some interest. There's another scan from one of my digital collections. It is starting to thunder. Oh, and this gorgeous, gorgeous piece. This is the center of the book. That is from a very, very old ad, and that's a printable that I have. And there's, again, plenty of writing space in here, and a lot of very inspiring images, garden images, and for this time of the year, I just love that. And just beautiful rooms.
A lot of pretty little faces, and there's another old printable. More beautiful images. That's from an old book. I think that book maybe was from the 80s. I'll have to double check that. More garden images. And every other page, like I said, gives you room to write. I love that. I love that color of blue. And I like little things like that too. That's a pretty heart in the center. It looks like a really pretty stone. I don't know, maybe it's ceramic. And that porch looks so inviting. There's the other half of that record holder. Pretty house with the, oh, what are those called? Is that a snowball viburnum? I think it is. Snowball bush, as they call it. And look at the little goats. That reminds me of my mom's goats. Just the way they're standing over the fence. And in the background you can see more mosaic things. And another old image that's a digital. This is a bookmark. There's a piece of ribbon tied to the outside, and you can just pull that around to mark your page. And there's that other side with the two pockets that are sewn in. And more writing page. Oh, I love that page. That's, again, that old astrological thing, and the garden image, and then the ladies in the garden. And there, the last page. I think that's so sweet as well. There's a pretty garden pathway and some garden structures, and the pretty lady with her bonnet, and a pocket in the back. So that's that. I will count the pages. It has quite a few pages, as you can see, and there are going to be plenty of pages to write on. Like I said, this journal would probably last me a month or two. I might be stretching it just to say a month, but I do write a lot down every day. And anyway, that's it. Thank you so much for stopping in. I really appreciate it, and this will be in the shop in a little bit. Bye.